Looking forward to Bowling Green day after Thanksgiving and finish this thing off right for our seniors and final game of the season. We got a lot of young guys in the game this last week against Toledo. I think will benefit us moving forward. We've got a few injuries. We've got to get some guys back headed into this Bowling Green contest, and we've got a couple extra days to get that done. That'd be very important for us moving forward. Bowling Green's been a unit. Obviously had a marquee win early in the year versus Minnesota. They've kind of been up and down based on how they play on offense. They've had some games. I mean, they took Northern Illinois, who wrapped up the MAC West last night. Has had a real good year. Took them down to the wire. Played Kent State real tough, and really stat-wise, if you look at the stats, played Miami tough. Miami only had 12 first downs. I think they had. I know that Miami's first touchdown, they took over at the 3-yard line, so there must have been must have had a turnover. So defensively, probably middle of the pack, I think. But again, if their quarterback's on, they can be problematic. So we'll have to be prepared for sure.
Coach, does this week and a half in between games kind of feel like another bye week? You guys have a long rest period. Going up against another MAC opponent. Does this feel like another bye week?
It does. Traditionally, you'd like to have we did not get a full bye week. Where we had a full week off. We had two. I guess 3 longer weeks, not a full 14 days. But we're treating it like a bye week. We're getting some recruiting done. We've got a couple of coaches on the road here the next couple of days. The kids are getting a couple of days extra rest. So we're trying to utilize it to the best of our ability to benefit us moving forward.
Does not having a true bye week kind of change how you work things?
You kind of you got to get lucky on some things. If you have one and you got a couple guys banged up, you can use it to your benefit. And then there are times I've been years where you're on a roll, and it's just the ball bouncing your way, and you don't want one to interrupt the flow. I've been a part of it both ways, and you just you got to take them as they come. And have a plan for where you are as a football team.
Obviously, with the Thanksgiving holiday on Thursday and then the game on Friday, are any of the players planning on going home beforehand, or are you guys going to be having a meal off at Bowling Green?
Yeah, staff-wise, we are keeping our entire team here through Wednesday. The non-travel roster guys will be here for practice on Wednesday morning and then be released to go be with their families. Obviously, the traveling squad will be here until we return. Staff-wise, we have to be on point with our guys as far as finals begin Monday after the Bowling Green contest, and so we're in the process of making sure by position, when are your finals. Well, we'll have a wrap-up final team meeting Monday, back from Bowling Green, and let those guys get finish their finals and make sure they have a plan moving into Christmas break.
Coach, going into this game, both Ohio and Bowling Green are 3-8 teams. You guys have the better conference record, and you've beaten them every meeting since 2016. But like you said, Bowling Green's been a very up and down team.
Yep.
Close games. How are you planning on kind of keeping that streak going?
Yeah. Again, if we play our best 4 quarters, that's what we're after, and to finish out for these seniors. How Bowling Green plays is I have no control of that, but we're gonna have to play our best. It's gonna be a down to the wire contest. I can assure you. It's all. I mean every game we've been into, it's been like that, and so we're gonna have to go up there and execute in all 3 phases and play our best game to get it done. We're hopeful we can do that. That's definitely the goal. That would put us, winning 3 out of the last 4. Great momentum going into next year, and set the tone. Help us set the tone for our off season, and moving forward with Coach Miller and to get our guys ready to go as we play. On the schedule next year is nationally ranked Penn State, nationally ranked Iowa State. I know FAU is going to be in there somewhere. I don't know the order of them. but it's going to be a tougher schedule than what we had this year. And so we're going to need to have a great off season as a program for sure, and it'd be nice to have some momentum going into that.
Last year you faced Matt Mcdonald. He's quarterback at Bowling Green, obviously. What are some of the things that he brought to the table last year, challenged the team, and what are some of the improvements you hope to make into Friday's game?
I think last year's game in particular, we were able to get on them early. They scored early, we scored. We got the kickoff return, I think, to make it 21-10 maybe, or 3, something like that. That was huge. It was 14-3 or 7. And we popped that kickoff return, and we were able to get out on them early, and kind of made them one-dimensional, all right. And they are at their best when they are even, pass yards versus rush yards. When they can run the ball and throw the ball, and they pick and choose down distance what they want to do. That's when they're at their best, and we're going to have to try to make them one-dimensional. Just like, I know that's a cliche football thing, but it was very evident in last year's game, and so I think controlling the line of scrimmage on both sides, limiting their ability to run. Toledo, that they've had huge success running the ball, and Bowling Green's running back's very capable. So we'll have to tackle well, have a plan for the running game to try to help those things I just mentioned.
I know you said in the past few weeks your defense has been pretty dinged up. Like you said, you get a hawk on BG's offense early. What kind of challenges does that present? With how the defense has been dinged up over the past month.
Right. I'm hopeful to get a guy back or two. The thing what hurt us last week was Kyler McCracken did not play. Brendan Stye did not play. I'm hopeful Stye can get some limited reps. The thing that we're into right now, Tariq Drake did play in the game, did not practice all week. Jaron Hampton did not practice all week, but he's ready he played in the game. So the guys were playing, but they didn't get any practice time. So they're not obviously at their best. Practice is important. We'll have some guys that will be faced like that today on offense. We're going to be T.J. Jackson's dinged up, and we got a couple guys that have classes, so we're going to be limited. It'll be stressful as a staff, based on who's going. I think I mentioned this going into the Miami game. We were not able to practice like we wanted because we had so many guys out, and we are close to that at this point. But we are going to move forward and practice tomorrow. It'll be limited, but we're going to do that, and then give them a day off over the weekend, and then resume on Sunday.
Is there kind of an estimate on Jackson, if you can disclose? Is there like a timetable for his?
Yeah, he played through some pain in Eastern. I was worried. Really tough. That showed some unbelievable courage in Eastern Michigan and finished the game. But he's got a contusion / strain in the groin area, high hamstring area. It's limiting his mobility. He's a big guy, but he's very mobile. He's a strong kid too, but the strength of his game is his mobility with his size, and it's limiting his mobility. He will not be able to practice today, but we're hopeful by Sunday we get him back.
You mentioned at the beginning of the press conference some of the younger guys were able to step up on Tuesday night. Who are some of those guys that you thought made a big impact, and I guess going back into last week's practices as well?
Yeah, start with Joey Habernowski. TJ went out and he played basically the whole second half for us. Did some really good things. He had some areas that we got to, he got exposed on some things. It's really his first substantial game time in his career here. TJ's basically played every snap because every game's come down to the wire, basically. And so he's the big one. I think that Will Kasmerick saw his first action in this last game at tight end. And defensively, Torrey Cox played a little bit. He's played throughout the course of the year. And I'm trying to think. Bradley Weaver, defensive lineman. Played 10 or 11 snaps, had 3 tackles, I believe, for us in the defensive line. And he's got a bright future. So those guys that come up stand out in my mind. They're you guys know CA played, of course, and so there's a good group there that's got great potential that are young guys on our roster.
In the Toledo game last week, or Toledo game a couple days ago, you guys were shut out of the end zone until the fourth quarter. It kind of seemed like you guys were like you had talked about, you went with your gut on that field goal, but how, you guys did not score a single touchdown in the first half. What is the plan to fix that?
Sure, I understand. You got to tip my hat to Toledo defensively. They're top 3 in every category. You'd like to, the shot played Isaiah. You'd like for the ball just to be a little bit more gas on it, so Isaiah didn't have to stop and wait for the ball. That's a chance for us to score. Have an 80-yarder just like they got against us. And this ball was slightly underthrown. He was so wide open. You don't want to overthrow that ball. I think mistakes down in the red zone when we got down there. But I can't speak to a mistake versus that's just good defense. I can say, hey, call this play or call a pass play instead of a run play. I'm not second guessing kicking the field goal to make it 14-9. If I known Toledo was going to score the first play to make it 21-9, on the long pass, or, sure, but you just don't have that information at the time. And I thought defensively, there was no points scored in the first quarter, if I'm correct, and it's some action. I thought, okay, this is going to be one of those games where everybody's thinking it's going to be a shootout with their offense, and I thought this is going to be one of those games. And so the second guessing on the field goal, I'm not really on the one we missed. Low snap, tough hold, not really Stevens' fault. We were making a two-score game, and defensively they got a good defense, and we were not able to get a touchdown. So okay, let's try to make it a two-score game. We get a stop, and then hey, we're going to have to go for a touchdown for sure. And there was 14 minutes to go in the fourth when we were down there. I think I know there was enough time to get at least 2 more possessions. If we were at the 8-minute mark, we're going for it. But it was 14 minutes, I think, if I remember correctly, and that's what was in my head, and that's what we went with.
Just a couple more questions from me. We talked a little bit about BG quarterback Matt Mcdonald. He averages over 200 yards a game, and we've seen it when BG beat Buffalo by 12 points, I think. You guys have had to deal with a lot of good quarterbacks this year. He seems like the big standout on BG's roster this year. How do you approach a quarterback like him, especially if you played him before?
Yeah, I think I'm repeating myself, just making him one-dimensional. If he's got the security blanket of the running game, or any quarterback has got the security of the running game, that's going to make the throwing game, particularly the play action. They like to bootleg him, which is, that's football talk, but it's legit, and he's really good at that stuff. And they got a really good quick game, get the ball out quick. I think again their offense goes as he goes, and now their running back's very capable. Forgive me, I don't have his name. Number 4, if I remember correctly, he is a talented young man. He's hard to bring down, strong runner, and so we'll have to play well against him. And again, last year, offensively, got out the early lead, got them out of their game plan a little bit, and we're going to need to have some type of either stopping the run game or us offensively getting some touchdowns to get them out of their game plan to give us our best chance.
Overall, your first year as head coach, what are some of the biggest takeaways you take away personally after the season? Obviously, the record isn't what you wanted, but obviously the team has stuck around and rallied around the whole thing and stuck with it.
Yeah, I think just me personally as a head coach, I've enjoyed getting to know the guys on defense, and I look forward to continuing to build those relationships with the guys, with not coaching a position. And I think on game day, I think just staying out of the way of the guys at the wrong time. I think I told Russ on one of the shows in the last couple of weeks that the Miami game I was too involved in the middle of a series on offense. On defense I'm just listening and and suggest something between series. But offensively, obviously that's my background and that's where I spend my time. And there are times the shot clock's going, and I don't need to be talking. I need to set back and suggest why the play's going on. I try to do too many things. I think that's a lesson that I've taken from this year. And then I think just the flow of the season. Talking with coach and injuries and how to practice and prepare the team, dealing with some things with the team captains, the things that we've gone through, the close losses. I think that those things we can take some positives in how we prepare and moving forward, because we've got to in this business you got to win. Everybody knows that. And we had opportunities with those close losses, the 1-point loss, a 3-point loss, a 2-point loss. We had 2 fourth-quarter leads against Central and Buffalo. And me as a leader of the program, staff, I've got to find a way to get our football team to win those games.